Well, hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Laura Shipman Show. I'm your host, Laura, and in today's episode, we're talking about something that can be a huge game changer for your business in 2025, and that is time saving social media hacks. If you're feeling like social media is consuming more of your time than it should, you are not alone, my friend. A lot of entrepreneurs and business owners struggle with streamlining their content creation process and making it as efficient as possible. But today, we are going to change all of that. I am sharing actionable tips that you can start using right away to save time, get more organized, and create content that not only gets noticed, but also drives results. And that's what we all want, right? All right, my friends. Well, episode 345 starts right now. Well, hey there. Welcome to the Laura Shipman Show. I'm your host, Laura, and I'm here every week to help you create value driven content quickly and efficiently while focusing on things like digital marketing, social media, productivity, and time management. My goal? To give you the tools to market your business effectively, manage your time, and create real results both in business and beyond. Are you ready to dive in? I know I am. Grab a notebook, a pen, and your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's get started. All right, let's face it, social media can sometimes feel like a full-time job on its own. But there's a secret that people have been keeping from you, and I'm going to share it with you. And the secret comes down to this: creating a system that works for both you and your business. I love systems and I try and use them whenever possible so that it just makes my life easier and simpler. Simpler, that's a new word. Simpler. I was going to say what we need to do is just jump right into today's episode and start simplifying your social media process. And the first thing you should focus on is choosing your content formats wisely. We have videos, images, reels, carousels, stories, threads. It can get so overwhelming. And instead of trying to do it all, focus on one or two formats that will get the most engagement from your audience. Remember, everybody's audience, everybody's business, everybody's brand is a little bit different. So what works for one business over here may not necessarily work for yours. So don't try and compare yourself to other businesses. Instead, focus on what works for you, your business, and your audience. And so maybe it's something like short, punchy reels, or maybe it's eye catching carousels. Whatever works for you, for your business, and your audience is what you want to focus on most. And this means you're not constantly switching between different types of content. And then it allows you to batch create more efficiently. And that's what we're looking for. Okay, my next little tip here is use content buckets. Now, think of these as your go to content categories. And what you want to do here is break your content creation into manageable chunks. And it looks something like this. You could have a content bucket that is educational. And in that bucket, you have all of your tips, your how to's, your value driven content that you can pull from and post out into the world. The next bucket could be behind the scenes, and this could be a peek into your business, what a day in your life looks like, what your process is, what the customer journey looks like for your business. All of those things belong in that little bucket, and you can pull from those whenever you need those. Another content bucket could be engagement posts, and these are great. These are fun. I love participating in these as an audience member. These are things like polls, questions, fun prompts, this or that, those sort of things. Just fun, lighthearted stuff that people tend to resonate with and really engage with. And then the fourth bucket we're looking at is testimonials and case studies. It's time to get your customers and your clients do talking, right? We want them to do the talking, share their experiences of working with your brand and your product and your business. So, having a little system like this set up where you've got content at the ready ensures you're never stuck asking, what should I post today? Because you've already got the types of content percolating around and marinating, and there's enough of it that you can rotate through it so it never gets stale. And that's the key is whenever you think of an idea or something that you want to post about, make sure you have like a Google Sheet or a Google Drive or somewhere that you can make a note of it and drop it in there. I do that all the time because these ideas pop into your head when you least expect it. So if you can have something that's easy for you to use from your phone where you can record the ideas, I highly recommend doing that. And it could even just be the Notes app on your phone, right? You could just have an ongoing note where you just throw in all sorts of content ideas and things like that. Now, I have a little pro tip for you. If you haven't listened to my previous episode, and that's number 344, Batching Made Easy, Crush Your Content Goals in 2025, make sure you listen to it because it's going to help you set up this system that I just talked about in the form of content pillars. Every business has certain content pillars that are the foundation of the business, the thing that you always talk about in your business, and that aligns really well with everything that you are offering in your business. So if you haven't listened to that, go back an episode, listen to it. It will really help you with the first part that we just talked about. Okay, the next thing we want to do is focus on automation. You want to automate the repetitive tasks. And again, that is something I love doing. And one of the best ways you can save time on social media is to automate the tasks that don't need your hands in them or on them. And here's how to do it. My first one, and you guys probably already know this already, but schedule content in bulk. I love doing this. Scheduling is your best friend, and I highly suggest you use a tool like Metricool or Facebook's Meta business scheduler. It allows you to plan out your entire month's worth of posts in advance. So set aside a couple of hours each week or each month to create and schedule everything, and then let the tool do all the rest. This way you can create content in bulk, keep a consistent presence, and then free up your time for more strategic tasks in your business. So if you want to check out Metricool for free, and we talk about Metricool all the time, and they're not a sponsor of my podcast at all, although Metricool, if you're listening, we could talk about that. Um, I do have a link in the show notes, though, you might want to check out because they do have a very robust free version of Metricool, and I would try it out. See what you think of it. See how easy it is to use, and you will get hooked on scheduling content in bulk, just like I do. I do it for myself and for all my clients, and I absolutely love it. Okay, enough about that. The next one, this is another tool that I absolutely love, and that is use AI for caption creation. Now, just stick with me on this. There's a lot of people out there who say, don't do it, don't do it. It sounds like AI stuff, it's not humanized, blah, 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 blah. You have to know how to use it. And then AI becomes a game changer. So instead of coming up with captions from scratch, you can actually use ChatGPT to help generate caption ideas or even write drafts based on the content you're posting. So the key here, so it doesn't sound robotic, is using it as a starting point, a jumping off point to spark your creativity. Don't rely on it completely because then you will fall into that mechanical type sounding content. But the point is here, you're wanting to save time, and if using ChatGPT can help you get to the finish line faster and save you hours of brainstorming time each week, that's what we need, right? Remember, when you're working with this tool, you want your own personality and flair injected into every piece of your content. So you're going to have to play with it a little bit, but the energy and the time needed to start from scratch is less when you use a tool like ChatGPT. Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox on ChatGPT. You know how I feel about it. I think it's a great tool. You just need to use it wisely. And that's why I include a ChatGPT prompt in every episode I do, because I want you to get used to using it. And I want you to get used to adding your own little spin into the prompt, customize it for yourself, for your business, for your audience. Okay. And the third thing that we want to do with automating repetitive tasks is set up automated engagement responses. So while you should definitely engage personally with your audience, there are times when you can automate basic responses for common questions and inquiries, such as booking an appointment with you or pricing, or maybe some frequently asked questions that people seem to ask all the time. You can use tools like ManyChat or Chatbot on Instagram to help automate DMs and FAQs that you might get. So that way you're not manually in your business and in the weeds. You actually have something helping you respond to those customer questions or those audience questions. Okay, so now let's get into some time saving content creation hacks. Creating content does not have to be a time cow. It really doesn't. The more efficient you are with your creation process, the more content you can produce in the less amount of time. And I feel like I'm a poster child for this because of the amount of clients that I have, and I'm a solopreneur. I'm one person. I don't have a big team behind me, yet I'm still able to create a podcast and do all of my client work and some other things and special projects that I'm working on, and also do education for myself, things like that. You want to get there too, right? You want to make sure that you're freeing up time for you and your business so that you grow your business the way you want it to. All right, so here's my hacks. Repurpose like a pro. So, repurposing is the ultimate time saver. So let's just say you've created a blog. You have an opportunity to maybe turn that blog into three social media posts, or maybe it's a good script for a reel, or maybe it's a good script for a podcast. Use the transcript. I wish I could talk today. Use the transcript for captions or posts. But whatever you do, don't let any piece of content you create go to waste. So, the point here really is just always be thinking about how you can be using your content in different ways. And once you get used to repurposing, you're going to learn that it saves you from reinventing the wheel and it helps your content reach a broader audience across different platforms. Now, remember, everybody consumes content differently, right? So, if you create content one way and then repurpose it into something else, you're reaching different types of people who absorb content differently. So I hope that makes sense. The other thing you could do is create evergreen content. So not everything you post needs to be tied to a specific point in time. Evergreen content, which is content that is relevant year round, is the gift that keeps on giving. It's once it's created, like you can continue to share it and reuse it and gain value from it. So think about creating valuable resources like guides, FAQs, tutorials, or how to's that can keep giving you traffic and engagement months later. And then my next tip is outsource what you can. If you have the budget, consider outsourcing specific tasks like maybe the graphic design portion or video editing to people who do this on a regular basis. It might seem like an upfront cost, but it's going to save you so much time in the long run, allowing you to focus on those high priority tasks like strategy and community engagement and growing your business than getting caught up in the weeds of doing stuff that somebody else can actually do. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about here is understanding the importance of analytics and how to refine your strategy. I used to avoid analytics. They intimidated me for some reason, but now I don't. And what happens is when you're not using analytics, you start feeling like you're just throwing content out there, like you're spraying and praying and hoping that something actually sticks. But the reality is, when you begin to embrace analytics, you start making these data driven decisions that are going to help you refine your strategy and save time and focus on the content that is performing and realize the content that's not performing, and it will help you get rid of that. So imagine yourself spending all this time on carousels, and carousels take a lot of time because there's multiple slides involved and it's a lot of work. And then you never looked at your analytics and you never knew that people weren't really consuming the content that you were putting into the carousels. That's a huge waste of time. You could easily just like cut that out and say, well, actually, maybe it's my reels that are performing better than the carousels. I want to do more of that. And that's just the point. Track what works and do more of it. So instead of guessing what your audience likes, use the analytics to find out what it is that lights them up and what gets the most engagement. And I hate to mention this one more time, but Metricool, it will track your reach, your impressions, your engagement rates, and even when the best time to post is. And this allows you to tweak your strategy and invest more time into the content that works. And then we already talked about this a little bit. Cut the content that doesn't work. It's tough to cut the stuff. Maybe you enjoy creating this stuff, but it's necessary if it's not working. So if certain types of posts aren't getting the traction that you want, cut back on them. You don't need to completely erase them from your post offering, but just at least cut back on them so you're not wasting a bunch of time. And that way you'll spend time on the things that are working well for your business. All right. So I hope that gave you some food for thought about how to really attack your content and save some time while creating it, because it's not fun getting caught up in the hamster wheel of content creation. It can be very tiring, exhausting, and you can get burnout from it. Trust me, I've been there. Okay. So with every episode that I put out there, I leave some sort of a challenge for you. And today's challenge is all about batching and repurposing. So here's your task. Choose one piece of content you've already created. So this could be a blog, a video, a podcast, whatever it is, and break it down into at least 5 new pieces of social media content. So this could be carousels, it could be a quote, it could be a tip, it could even be a story. Now, here's the key. If you have something like a blog and you cannot break that down into 5 different ideas, then your blog's not deep enough, right? So you need to think about how you can really add value to the primary piece of content that you're creating. So when I teach social media, I teach people to start with one big piece of content that's going to lay the foundation for your content strategy for that month, let's say. So if you think of a wagon wheel, right? And in the middle of the wagon wheel, there's this disc, and all the spokes are coming out from it. Imagine that disc at the center of the wagon wheel is your blog. And then you have all these spokes coming out from the blog, and each one points to a different thing. So maybe one points to an email campaign series. Maybe another spoke points to Instagram. Another one points to Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. You get the idea. Maybe one posts to a Reels, and one posts to a podcast. These are all different ways that you can repurpose that initial foundational piece of content. Maybe it's a YouTube video. Maybe you launch with a YouTube video and then turn that, maybe that's the center of your wagon wheel, right? And that turns into a blog post, social media posts, videos, like short form videos, things like that. So once you have broken down your foundational content into 5 new pieces of content, schedule that content in advance using a scheduling tool like Meta's Business Suite or Metricool. This exercise, although it sounds like it's a lot, will not only save you time, but it'll help you get more mileage out of your existing content. All right. Now, for the Chat GPT prompt, and if you cannot write this down as we're chatting here, I have it in the show notes, so please don't worry about it. It'll be there for you to look at. What you want to do is tell ChatGPT, give me 5 content ideas based on my audience's pain points in, and then insert your industry. These ideas should be easy to create and highly engaging on social media. Put that one in first. And then if you don't like what the output is from ChatGPT, tweak it a little bit. You might actually want to tell ChatGPT what your audience's specific pain points are and see what happens. Okay, my friends. Well, that is it for today's episode. I hope these time saving hacks help you create social media content more efficiently and helps you get back valuable hours in your day. If you found these tips useful, share the love, send this episode to a friend, or leave me a review and make sure you're subscribed. I can't wait until our next episode. And until then, keep working smarter, my friend, not harder. And let's make 2025 your most productive year yet. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you found this episode helpful and packed with value. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update. And hey, if you know someone who could benefit from today's tips, please share the podcast with them. It's the best way to help others and grow our community. Until next time, keep creating, stay motivated, and I'll see you in the next episode.